So I welcome you all to the series on strategic management. Since last 2021 classes, we have been discussing about the concept of strategic management, how in a competitive world, how in a rigorous manner a company can gain competitive advantage and sustain it over a longer period of time, how to assess our true position in the market, and in order to achieve a sustainable competitive advantage, what are the various strategies that we are going to adopt? Our discussion has continued. So if you remember, in our last class we have discussed about the concept of GE matrix, that is General Electric matrix, which was developed by the joint collaboration between GE and McKenzie. In our last class, we have taken some examples and stated how the concept of GE matrix works, how the concept of market attractiveness and business unit strengths are taken as two key parameters in order to figure out the true positions of a company and its product and its portfolios. The concept of strategic business unit was also discussed. Now we will be focusing on the difference between BCG and GE matrix. So BCG matrix was covered in sometimes back, GE matrix was covered yesterday. So what is the difference between them? BCG matrix can be understood as the growth share model that reflects a growth of the business and the market share possessed by the company. So how the business is growing and what type of market share is possessed by the company. Depending on those two factors, the concept of BCG matrix stands. On the other hand, the GE matrix focuses on the multi-factor portfolio matrix, which businesses use in marketing strategies for product lines or business unit based on their positions in the grid. The two dimensions on which BCG matrix is based are market growth and market share, whereas the GE matrix is based on the industry attractiveness and business strength. The BCG matrix is used by the companies to deploy their resources amongst various business units. On the contrary, the firms use GE matrix to prioritize investment amongst business units. See, where to put money, where to hold and go on a wait and watch mode, and where to take out the money from the business. The BCG matrix cannot tell you that particular aspect. That can only be given to you, that can only be told you by the concept of GE matrix. In BCG matrix, only a single measure is used, whereas in GE matrix multiple measures are used. If you remember, while calculating the industry attractiveness and business strength, we have listed various factors that affect the business over a period of time, both the industry as a whole and the company as a competitor. Therefore, it's very important to make a balance between both BCG and GE matrix in order to find out the true positions in the market. So as the coin has two sides, one upside and one downside, similarly the GE matrix does possess certain limitations. The first one is major assumption behind GE or McKenzie matrix is that it can operate when the economies of scale are achievable in production and distribution. Unless the same holds true, the concept of leveraging the competency of the company or SBU falls flat. See, all comes good when the economy is growing, but when the economy itself is not growing, like current situation, I don't know how far the concept of GE matrix and BCG matrix can be applicable in current scenario, but still the first assumption of GE matrix is that it can operate when economies of scale are achievable in production and distribution, unless the same holds true. Also, some of the factors of competitive strength and market competitiveness may be extremely important for a particular instance, while another instance may even require even other factors. See, all those factors we have discussed while discussing about industry attractiveness and business strength may hold true for a particular situation, but they may differ when another situation arises. Therefore, it is up to the top level management in order to find out a particular particular aspect, particular factor that affects the business organization in long run, and focus on that particular factor to find out its various dimensions. So this is all about. Then the relative weightage given to each of the factors of competitive strength and market competitiveness is often arbitrary, while some methodologies such as analytic hierarchy process may be used to compute the relative importance of such factor. Such is mostly not done. Thus, the overall position of the SBU on the matrix could come under criticism. See, while discussing about various factors under the industry attractiveness parameter or business strength parameter, we need to take them on logical ground. We may not be taking them arbitrarily. We should not be taking them arbitrarily. But if we are taking them arbitrarily, the competitiveness arbitrarily, then obviously blunders can happen, which may not become important. We may have taken those kind of parameters. Therefore, it becomes very important for the company to select the correct aspect, the correct parameter while designing the GE matrix. The core competencies of the company or the corporation are not represented in this analysis. The core competencies may be leveraged across SBUs and can be deciding factor while judging the competitive strength of the SBU. The core competitiveness, in which particular field the company is doing well, in which particular aspect the company is doing well, what are the various strengths of the company, that also has to be taken care of while designing these metrics. Otherwise, they will fail to represent the true position of the company in the market. So with this, we have come to the end of this GE matrix. The next important concept of McKenzie's 7S model will be discussed in today's class. So if you see this diagram, you will find 7 words that are taken, that are listed, or that start with the letter S. Therefore, importantly, it is called as your 7S model. But what are they? First, we will see what are the definition of 7S, what are the full form of 7S, then we will be discussing about that. So the first S stands for structure. Structure means the organizational structure of the company. Is it complicated? Is it complex? Is it multidimensional? Or it is simple? It is very easy to understand, and it can be described, it can be showed, it can be displayed to the people easily. Then comes systems, the second X. The system stands for the equipment, the technology through which your services or products are offered, prepared, and sent to the customers. Then comes the style. Style denotes or represents the standard operating procedure, the way you are going to offer your products and services to the customers. Then comes the most important, staffs. Staffs represent the concept of human resource, how to select them, how to train them, how to motivate them, and more importantly, how to manage them in order to achieve the unthinkable, unimaginable aspect in your businesses. Then skills. What are the level of skills that your company, that your people are having, and up to what extent they can go, up to what extent whether they are ready to go beyond their comfort zones in order to achieve various objectives set by the company itself. Then comes strategy. What is your vision? What is your mission? What are your strategy in order to achieve a lucrative pie in the market? Then comes the shared value. Shared value are those commonly shared values that can be read, that can be understood, that can be adopted by all people working in the organization. Again, if you see this 7S diagram, there are two colors. One is your light blue color, one is your cream color or light orange color. The light orange color S, the structure, the system, and the strategies are known as your hard S, Whereas the concept of shared value, style, staff and skills are written as soft S. So what do you mean by hard S and soft S is soft S is more intangible in nature. More intangible in the thing is it is psychological in nature. It has to be shown, it has to be seen. Therefore, they are called as your soft S. Whereas hard S can be seen, hard S are more of tangible in nature. Therefore, the division is like that. Now, we will continue. So, it has also been derived by the consulting company called McKenzie, the trusted advisor to the world leading businesses. See, McKenzie operates as an independent consulting firm and they often derive various models, they often derive various strategies. Whoever is their client, like very big brands like GE, like any other company, they are the one of the trusted advisors to them for expanding their businesses. The 7S framework of McKenzie is a management model which includes 7 factors to organize a company in an holistic and effective way. See, I want to tell you something here. What do you mean by this holistic and effective way? I gave you the example or the difference between effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness means whether I have completed the task or not, that is my effectiveness, and efficiency means in what time period and with what minimal resources I have completed the task. That tells me about my efficiency. So whenever a company wants to grow holistically, holistically means on every ground, on every aspect, on every parameter, on every department, the company needs to grow. And the 7S model framework is a very important tool that helps the company earn reputation, gain reputation and hold it for a longer period of time. Therefore, it becomes very important for everyone to understand, to implement and to adopt this 7S model. So the concept of 7S framework was first mentioned in the Art of Japanese Management by Richard Pascal and Anthony Athos in 1981. It also appeared in Search of Excellence by Peter and Waterman in 1982. The model was born at a meeting of these 4 authors in 1978. So if you see, there are 4 authors mentioned here: Richard Pascal, Anthony Athos, Peters and Waterman. These 4 has derived the concept of 7S framework. But what about this art of Japanese important? Why Japan? Of the term Japan or the word Japan or the country name often heard when the mentioning of quality, when the mentioning of excellence, when the mentioning of superior service quality is concerned. I will tell you the reason for this. If you see, there was 2 world wars happened over Indian civilization, not Indian civilization, the world civilization. It has affected the world civilization process in a very great manner. The first world war was fought between 2 groups of countries in Europe basically, but every country in the world has participated in them. It was during the period of 1990s. Then the second world was fought between 1939 to 1945. And do you know how does that second world war ended? The second world war ended when USA dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 Japanese cities within a duration of 2 to 3 days. One was on Hiroshima. Hiroshima is a city in Japan, and another bomb was dropped over another city called Nagasaki. And Japan then surrendered. The world witnessed the ferocity of atomic bombs and eventually the World War II ended. But from the ruins of the World War II, Japan was completely devastated by them. 2 of its major cities, major industrial cities were totally destroyed by the atomic bombs, and nobody would have thought that within a period of say 15 to 20 years, Japan would again be able to stand on its own. But it happened. Miracles happened. And As we discussed, within a period of 15 to 20 years, Japan became one of the major industrial superpowers in the world, and they started to operate their businesses, they started to venture out in their businesses world over. So obviously the USA people, the European people, they were anxious, they were surprised how fast these people recovered for the damage caused to them by the virtue of the war, and they are unto us now, they are giving us tough competition. And what is the reason behind it? So the USA, the western countries, they sent many researchers, many modern day scientists, many marketeers to Japan in order to study their processes, their way of operating, and from that the total concept of quality management, the total concept of Japanese style of management, excellence in service delivery, all these words have been derived and documented. Similarly, the 7S framework was also mentioned by the art of Japanese management as well as in search of excellence. These are two very famous articles written by these four authors who have invented this model: Richard Pascal, Anthony Athos, Peters, and Waterman. So as we discussed, this 7S can be again divided into two groups. The first group is known as your hard elements. Hard elements consist of strategy, structure, and system, whereas the soft elements consist of shared values, skills, styles, and staff. So what do you mean by these hard elements? Hard elements are those which can be easily identified and directly influenced by the management. Hard element, if you see in this diagram, this strategy, structure, and system, they can be easily identified in comparison to the soft test, and can be directly, because they are easily identifiable, they can be easily influenced by the top level management. Soft elements are less tangible, or as I said, they are intangible in nature, and they are more influenced by culture. Again, I want to give you an example. What do you mean by this culture? Culture means what are the values, what are the beliefs on which your organization stands and operates. When I say the word Tata Group, there was a survey. Before that, I just want to expand that example. Sometimes back, say for around 5 to 6 years back, there was a survey amongst finding out one of the trusted brands operating in India, and majority of the Indians voted for the group of Tata. They may not be as rich as other businesses house like Reliance and all, but the Tata Group has earned more respect in their lifetime in comparison to any other business houses in India. If we search for the reason behind it, why they command this type of respect, why they command this type of love, this kind of trust from the customer, because of their culture. Because again, if we search what do you mean by corporate culture, the way the businesses, the way the company operates tells you about the culture of the company. The words, the belief, the trust shown by the top level management, shown by the mid level management, shown by the lower level management, the way they function, the values they share, the ethics they share, all jointly forms the culture of the company. So these soft elements are less tangible, or say intangible, and more influenced by the company's culture. So we'll be going after the elements one after another. Now coming to the hard elements. Within hard elements, the first one may be derived as the strategy. So as we know, strategy is nothing but the plan devised to maintain and build competitive advantage over the competition. We will be discussing about this competitive advantage. Race ahead of the competitors, be ahead of the competitors, go on top of the competition, and sustain it over a longer period of time. In order to do all these things, you need a plan. You need to maintain and build over a period of time. That is called as your sustainable competitive advantage. So strategy is nothing but the plan devised to build the lead and maintain the lead over the competitors in a longer run. Then comes the second S, structure. The way the organization is structured and who reports to whom. As I discussed, organization structure is also an important parameter that tells us about the various layers in the management through which the information, the data, the people has to go through and report to each other. Suppose there are multiple layers between the top level management or the owner and the people who delivers, the lower level employees or the front line employees. So if there will be more number of layers between them, obviously the free flow of communication will not happen. If you remember the gap analysis of quality, there are various types of gaps by which or for which the management majorly do not know about what is happening on the ground, what is the true feedback obtained from the customers, because the mid-level management wants to showcase their competency to the top level management. So many a times they try to hide many data, many information coming from the field by the frontline staff and try to solve them in their own capacity, at their own level, so that they will prove their competency to the top level management. But if you keep on doing the same thing for over a period of time, then the number of complaints, then the number of grievances will be on a rise. So, and one day your whole system collapses. Similarly, if you keep on adding more number of departments to the organizational structure, so what will happen? There will be communication gap. See, if you go to a government office, I'll tell you one difference. Why it is necessary, this decentralization, opening of simplification of the organization structure, why it is important. In a government office, if you go and meet an officer, all officers will be having their own cabins. They will be confined to their cabins with their own personal staffs. So the interaction between two officers, the interaction between two departments mainly go through in a very formal manner. The file move from one desk to another, one department to another, and due to that there is delay, due to that there is chaos, there is confusion, and maybe many other aspects. Therefore, and contrary to this, if you go to a private organization, you can feel the difference that there is free flow of information, there is a good relationship between people from different departments. This cabin system is mostly not applicable in private organization. All will be operating from the same building, from the same room. Yes, there may be cubicles, but at an overall level that is not confined, that is not closed, that allows the free flow of communication, which speed up the work, which speed up the quality, which gives you better organized way of functioning. That is called as the structure. Then comes the third one of system. The daily activity or procedure that staff members engage in to get the job done. The activities, the system, the technology, all falls under the category of system through which the staff members get engaged in get the job done. How that work is being done, what type of technology is being used in the work, what type of machines or equipments are being used in the work, all falls under the category of system. Now coming to the soft elements. Soft elements, within soft elements, the first element stands as your shared value. Superordinate goals. Superordinate goals, if you remember in our strategic mapping discussion, we as a manager, we as a leader need to align the objective of individual persons with the objective of the organization. See, it is not mandatory that the objective of an organization and objective of an employee should match together. It may differ. The employee may be coming to the company just to earn money. There is no relation between earning money for myself or my family and I want to see the growth of the organization. These are two different things. The organization wants to grow at a larger scale. The people who work for the organization, they may be having different uh, types of. So it becomes very important to align the goals of an individual with the goals of an organization. Therefore, the shared values are called as your superordinate goals. Coordination and superordination. Superordination means you need to align the individual goals with the goals of the organization. There are certain core values like we are the most trustworthy company in the market. So we should not be cheating any kind of people in order to gain short-term benefits. That is the first shared value. Similarly, the core values of the company should be the evidence in the corporate culture and general work ethics. But I as an individual may be cheating the customer in order to gain short-term profit, maybe for myself, or I may be pretending to show that I am working for the company, but in the back I am trying to cheat the company in order to gain some personal benefit. That is against the corporate culture or general work ethics. Therefore, shared values are all those superordinate goals that align the individual values with that of the organizational value. Therefore, they are called as your shared values. Then, the style of leadership adopted. We will be discussing about the style of managerial level, the style of leadership. There are various types of it and what type of leadership is being adopted. If you try to remember in our principle of management subject, while discussing about the types of leadership, generally there are three types of leader. One is autocratic leader, one is democratic leader, and another one is free rein leader or laissez-faire leader. Free rein and laissez-faire are the same things. But what are those things? If you see, autocratic leaders are like one-man army. Whatever they will detect, whatever they will say, everyone has to follow it. They try to take the lead, they control the behavior of others, and whatever they ask others to do, everybody has to follow him. That's the way he operates. Democratic style, always try to take feedback, always try to excuse me, always try to take feedback, always try to seek suggestion from various people in order to gain insights and then take various decisions. And free rein leader, they do not interfere in their manager's job. They will only tell you, give you the problem. You as manager, you as employee need to brainstorm and take out the benefit and take out the solution and then inform to the leader. These are the basic difference between various types of leadership. Similarly, if we see the various types of managerial style, there are 5 types that we will be going to discuss. That is called as your Black and Mouton managerial grid. So what type of leadership style, what type of managerial style is being adopted by the company also plays a very important role in shaping the organizational direction, in shaping the organizational future, in shaping or gaining competitive advantage over the competitors. Then, as we discussed the staffs, the employees and their general capabilities, it includes various HR functions like the first thing you need to do is human resource planning. For producing this much of product or delivering service to this many customers, we need this many people. So obviously every company wants to grow from their current state. So if somebody wants to grow, obviously he or it needs more manpower. And in order to gain more manpower, what are the various activities that you need to conduct that falls under the category of human resource planning? For next year, I require how many people? After 3 years or after 5 years, after 6 years, how many people are needed by me? That all falls under the category of human resource planning. Similarly, developing two aspects of human resource planning is more important. What are they? In order to derive job description and job specification. What is the difference between job description and job specification? Is in job description, you are stating what are the various characteristics of the job. If you see in a newspaper ad regarding any vacancy, as a manager, what all jobs are you are supposed to do while become a manager in a company. You need to take sales meeting, you need to set the targets, you need to coordinate between different departments. These are the some of the job characteristics of a manager. That all falls under the category of job description. Similarly, job specification is defined as the list of required set of qualification and experience needed by the individual employee. The applicant should be graduate. The applicant should have at least 5 years of experience in the similar field. The applicant should be fluent in Hindi or English or any other local language or in all three of them. The applicant should possess so and so quality, good communication skill, good interrelationship skills. All these falls under your job specification. So human resource planning, job description, job specification, then the process of recruitment. If you remember, in our HR classes we have discussed about the concept of recruitment, which is nothing but providing advertisement in the newspaper or in various medias in order to collect the CVs, the application or the resume of the prospective job candidates in order to make a pool of job applicants. That is called as a recruitment process. Then comes selection process. Selection process is nothing but to conduct various written tests and interviews in order to finalize the appropriate candidate from the pool of job applicants. Suppose 1,000 number of people have applied for a job, but you cannot select any particular person arbitrarily. Therefore, if you want really and HR practices, then obviously you need to conduct various written tests and interview in order to finalize the correct or the proper employee for the organization. That also falls under the category of selection process. Then comes training and development. Training means teaching of a specific skills to the employees, whereas development means overall personality development of the employee. So training and development, then performance appraisal, like at the end of each semester or at the end of each year, we normally appear for various examination. Examination is what? It is your appraisal of performance. Similarly, whenever people work in an organization, the organization conducts regularly various types of performance appraisals for their staffs. Why? In order to find out the level of the style of performance of the employees, in order to provide promotion, in order to provide increment, or in order to provide both to the employees. So the staff function includes all of these: recruitment, human resource planning, development of job description and job specification, selection, performance appraisal, training and development, promotion, transfer, exit. All these activities are included under the staff function. Then comes skills. The actual skills and competencies of the employees working for the company. It is not only communication skill. It may include your human skills. How is your relation as a manager with other people? Whether you are more concerned towards people or you are very much task oriented and you don't care about the people. But in both the cases, if you take extreme steps, if you become extreme friendly with your employees, or you become extremely cautious about the type of production and the amount of production that you need to generate, so obviously in both these cases your company is going to suffer. Why? Because if you get extra friendly with all your employees, the employees may become very happy with the manager, but in the long run, it is not good for the company. They will be taking everything for granted. They will not become serious for production. And if the other way around, if you become very much concentrated about only production, then obviously your human skills lacks, which is again not good in long run. Therefore, as a manager, you need to utilize your skills in a very tactical manner, so that your employees will be happy, as well as they will be cautious and they will be working towards achievement of the goals set by at least you or by themselves also. But the actual skills and competency of the employees working for the company is also necessary. Now, we have taken one example to describe this 7S in a more better manner. So, we have taken the example arbitrarily, a company's example as known as SMH Group. So, it's an outsourcing service company, service provider. Is a leading BPO in India, having its expertise in outbound, inbound, back office, web chat for offshore and onshore. We add real value to the organization through domain expertise plus solution with proven success in the field and world-class service. It is how we keep you moving forward. So, they have mentioned the mission, vision statement here, the objective of doing business here. They are basically a BPO operating in India, and they are experts in outbound, inbound. Outbound means outgoing calls, inbound matlab incoming calls, back office operation, all your data entry works and all, web chat. Whenever if we visit sometimes a particular website, a pop-up window comes as may I help you. That is called as your web chat for offshore, onshore. Offshore means people or customer who are residing out of country, or onshore means the people who are operating or based on within the country, etc. Then they are trying to add real value to the global organization through domain expertise. These are the domain expertise plus solutions with proven success in the field and world-class services. So what are the various services provided by the SMH groups? They are into education, they are into technology, and they are into outsourcing business. So what are the various strategies that they adopt? So the various strategies adopted by them is client-focused strategies to achieve growth. For us, the client plays the major role, focuses on large number of organizations in order to gain more market share, and develops deep knowledge of the customer relationship. If you remember, relationship marketing always plays a major role. And rewarding strategies, rewarding the good performing, best performing employees. So, in this class, we will be finishing here. In the next class, we will start to finish this concept of 7S model. Thank you very much. God bless you all.